Maybe I'll go over here. I'll start this way. Morning, people, or afternoon, evening, whatever time you're watching this. I'm in my backyard. I haven't shown you guys the backyard yet. It's kind of massive. It's a lot of space for me. I just have a few things I kind of want to talk to you guys about, get off of my chest. I had briefly popped in yesterday to talk to you guys about a few things on my mind, but I didn't like how the broadcast went, so I deleted it. Simplest way to say it. Sometimes there's stuff that I want to put out there where I feel like it'll benefit people, and there's times where I don't really feel like I'm confident putting it out there. So good afternoon, first and foremost, or evening, or whatever time you're watching this. Make sure, can you guys hear all those animals? I'm gonna show you these geese real quick. Check it out. You know what? Hey guys. Yeah, I know. There they are. I can't even make geese sounds. I'm not even going to try to make geese sounds. There's chickens too. Hold on. We got some chickens right there. You guys see those turkeys? Gobble, gobble. Yeah, these are my neighbors. And then over there, yeah, because this is still my yard. Over there, you guys might be able to see that dog barking. So yeah, it's my backyard. On the left-hand side, I got a fowl, poultry, chickens, and the like. And then over there on the right, I got all kinds of dogs. I'm here to kind of talk to you guys about a few things. We're going to be going to Texas next week. We are also going to be doing a lot more, man. The easiest way to say it. We're going to be going out to Texas Wednesday through Friday to hang out with Adam of Shamanic Philosophy. I'm super fired up for that. Super stoked. I'm going to probably be going to California here soon, or next, and then after that, Colorado. So a lot of different traveling and a lot of different things lined up for you guys. If you haven't listened to the amazing episode with Justin Harvey of We Are Change Orlando, you may have missed out, or you for sure missed out on me talking about how I may want to do a separate series where we get all the authors, the activists, and the amazing people that were at the United for Common Ground Summit, and have a separate series where we talk about solutions, different perspectives, and all kinds of other things as well. Thank you for listening to Truth is Our Religion, of Jay's Truth is Our Religion. Powerful episode. Make sure you're listening to the mini-casts that we did, the separate mini-casts, parts 1 through 3, the same thing that we do here. That's also uploaded on our audio podcast feed, as well as the Fellowship and Freedom podcast episode we did. The point I'm trying to make to you guys by just rambling off all this stuff is look at how much work we are literally putting out, like every single day, every single week, every single month. We're already in, like, it's only the third month of 2019, and think about like how much we've already done. Like, really think about how much work we do. Think about it. Like, really conceptualize it and try to ask yourself, is this something you want to do? Is this something you want to be engaged in? Can you do it better? And I don't mean that like in a confrontational way. I'm saying that like, are you willing to commit to your own kind of growth and everybody else's growth like that? Are you willing to basically forego yourself to look at something grander, to be a part of something bigger? I am. And I guess because I'm in this state of just like doing so much stuff all the time, I'm just like, I'm in a really contemplative mood all the time, man. I'm not really sure what else to say. I'm in a flow state. You guys have heard me talk about that all the time. And I think that's why I'm tripping, is because I feel like I don't have to do anything because everything's already being done, and I'm moving in this kind of alignment to where anything extra that I will do will disrupt the natural order of things. But because I'm not necessarily a patient person, very, 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 very progressive and forward-oriented, goal-oriented, I feel like I have to still come up with more ways to innovate, more ways to think, and more ways to grow. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's the secret, is learning to let go and to get into this flow state so more things can happen without me trying to obstruct them. I'm not entirely sure. But I feel like it's my point to tell you guys these type of things so that you can work in this kind of capacity in your own life. So you can try to figure out how to remove things that no longer serve you, figure out how to develop techniques and abilities to benefit you, and really just have like a prosperous life, like something that you want to live in. One of the things you'll hear me talk about if you go listen to that episode with Justin Harvey of We Are Change is you'll hear us talk about the concept of liberation through awareness. And that's something I'm like an avid believer of, an avid pusher of, man. People say, I get this all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're fear mongering. Oh, this is some evil shit you're doing over here. Oh, this is misinformation." Or, "Oh, you're saying something that causes me to change and think about my entire core or my entire reality. You're scary." And I can see how people would see that. They want to have a villain. They want to be able to put their hatred someplace. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to liberate people through awareness. We're trying to look at how many different situations are on our plate, and the effective solutions that we can all come together and start doing. Like a few years ago, you wouldn't have heard me talk about this. A few years ago, I wouldn't have had this perspective, this mindset, this drive, the tools, the capabilities, the perception to talk to you guys about how we have to come up with solutions, how we already are in like a position of winning, but it's the perception as to why we're losing that keeps us in this state of regression. You wouldn't hear me talking about this years ago. You would hear me talk about how we've been in a position of disenfranchised power to where before we had things like smartphones, social media, and all this other great tools, before we were in a position of disadvantage, we couldn't really control our lives in the way that we have now. The same way that the printing press just revolutionized media in general. That's the same way that this happened. We have somehow been able to use technology to liberate people, and in doing so, that disrupts the controlling system. It's a beautiful thing what's going on right now, and that's why I'm so honored to be here at a part of it at a critical juncture, because we have so much to talk about in relation to it. But as I discussed with Justin in that episode, how can you know what your problem is, and how can you know what your tools, your resources, and your wherewithal are, unless you're actually trying to do like a self-audit, self-accounting, looking at what's going on around you, and what you have at your disposal. You see, it's only now, a few years down the line, that you guys kind of hear me adopting this position of where, well, we have the solutions, we can figure it out, we know what it is. When you're caught up in a mindset to where you're just trying to react to the problems, where you're just trying to just get by, just eke over the top, you literally are incapable of putting yourself past your current day problem. We're at a point where there's so much corruption and so many problems. We have to put ourselves past this. We have to put ourselves into the future. We have to put ourselves out there to start coming up with something greater. I'm getting up. Going for a walk. And for the people that are tuning in right now, I'm in my backyard that I have like no idea what to do with. I'm not going to have a party because I still need to finish getting moved in. But, I had messaged Jason Vassler of the Free Thought Project while I was listening to that episode last night, and think about that, man. Think about like how many different people the Free Thought Project like influenced every single day, and then Facebook was like, we have to delete that. So much so to the point to where these people are like literally taking followers with them, taking like a percentage of the world's population with them as they're being deleted. But this guy wants to call me and say, hey man, how you doing? I saw your live the other day. I'm just checking in on you. And Jason, if you're watching, thank you for checking in, man. Think about that. The kinds of influential people that we get to work with, the content that we're putting out. Literally being able to challenge the status quo every single day. Yeah, we get shit wrong. Yeah, we get shit right. But the point is being in the fight, being in the war, and realizing that you're doing everything to try to get to the peacetime. That you're trying to do all this because there is a greater tomorrow. I'll show people real quick our backyard. The geese aren't here. Geese aren't there, and I'm just roaming. There's some horses over there. I don't know if you guys can see them. Equestrians. Look at them. All majestic and shit. Glorious. Glorious. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think, hey chickies. Look like silkies. But, yeah, I think doing that episode with Justin made me like appreciate, you know, we're 5 years into this, right? We're doing Instagram Live. This is like 2 years that they've had this feature now. You know, we're 5 years into this, and I still feel like I'm having to play catch up. And being able to have someone like Justin on, you know, who's basically right there, battle buddy, right there doing all this type of work, who gets what's going on in so many different levels. That's some kinship, man. The same way I got stoked when Rizza Islam came on. You're having somebody that had the same backstory as you, same upbringing, you know, same hardships, same confusions, and they're just like, we're still on top. We're still going to do this work. You got a lot of people that stay stuck behind the phone, and I get being anonymous, you know, I get being faceless, I get being unidentifiable, you know, but you have a lot of people that hide behind the keyboard and think they know everything, and that's not right. You're only getting like a certain perception of the world, and having somebody on that's been out there, been boots on the ground, at protests, at marches, city council, at events, traveling. That's the type of stuff that I really respect, because that's the type of stuff that we need. We need that experience. That's your resume. That shows where you stand. People hop on the page, they only get like 1% of what we're doing, and I have to tell them, my dudes, my friends, no, you need to get off of the social media. You need to get off of these platforms that are controlled, because you're looking for truth on a censored search engine now. You see what I'm saying? And this didn't just happen yesterday. We didn't just come up with 195,000 yesterday. We don't buy followers. You see what I'm saying? This comes from long-term exposure of being involved in this type of thing, of doing this type of work, like consistency, and seeing it change day in and day out. But people, and I think this is kind of like where I'm beating around the bush, people expect everybody else to do things and to point this type of stuff out. You know, this is why, you know, if I was, I need to get smarter, I need to get better, I need to get more educated, I need to get more professional, more sophisticated, because I want to hire writers, I want to hire people that can do what we're doing, but in different ways, diversifying the information still. If I was smart, I would hire more writers that can put out articles akin to what the Free Thought Project's doing, what the anti-media is doing, and what these other media operations are doing. I'm not that smart. All I'm literally doing is aggregating all the different posts that these amazing outlets are doing and then putting it out there and saying, look at this comprehensive view of today. You know, we're 5 years into this and I'm still trying to figure out like how to do more, how to be better. You see what I'm saying? But not enough people care. And I was talking about this with Justin on the show, is how we don't give enough credit to the people who are already out there doing this type of work and basically acting as a buffer in between just like blind obedience and acceptance. You see what I'm saying? Who in our generation gives a shit? Period. I think a lot of people within our generation are slowly starting to give a shit. But this is what I was saying the other night too. It doesn't matter whether or not, you know, people believe us. We're already there, and this is the craziest part about it. They're using the kids to push their agenda now. That's what you see with David Hogg. That's what you see with all these other kids. That's what you're going to start seeing with climate change. They're going to start using kids to push their agenda. We are the buffers in between what they're doing right now. What will come down the line is, because we can't argue with kids. You want to seem like a dickhead? They're not going to let us argue with kids. They're going to call it hate, fear-mongering, and all these other things. But what I'm trying to tell you is right now, in the chronological order of things, there are people who are already engaged in their own battles. We are engaged in our own battle right now. With the 5G, the chemtrails, the vaccines, the GMOs, the trans stuff, like all of it. That's our battle. And this is why you see them setting it up for the future. These kids, like where you have people like Cory Booker and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying, you know, this is going to be our World War III. This is them trying to say, we already have our fights. They're gonna project something else on the oncoming agenda, onto the oncoming world, the generation that's coming. And this is why it's important for us, why we have to get our health together, why we have to get our mind straight, why we have to understand the multi-layered assault that we are under, and how it's not even us at a certain level. It's the kids. It's the next generation. It's the people who are able to do things, you see. Like, think about this. Hey, puppers. Hey. Think about this. You know, and you guys may have heard me talk about this a lot, like in the most recent minicast specifically, talking about like our spark of divinity, and how people are being born here, how children are being born here to do work that we don't understand yet. Like, there are children being born, and I hope I can get into this with Adam of Shamanic Philosophy while we're out there. You know, things like soul contracts. Did you self-existence? Did you choose to be born? Stuff like that. There are children being born today who are ready to do work on this planet that's not of the agenda, that's of a higher order. And the people who are into esotericism, occultism, archaeology, eschatology, people who are into history and just like pretty deep esoteric stuff, they get that, they see that. And the upper elite, the people within the elites, the people that get this at a higher level, a deeper level truly, they understand that. So their whole goal is to basically stop that, to manipulate the future. And in order to do that, they have to kill the future. Well, how do you kill the future? You kill kids. How do you stop the future? You stop the future from happening. Well, how do you stop that? You control what's going on right now and what will happen in the future. This is why they're trying to fucking scramble kids' brains. This is why they're poisoning them, unfortunately, in the womb. Abortions, and then once they get here, they're trying to poison them with vaccines, put them on all kinds of different pharmaceuticals. Like, why in God's name would they do these types of things? This makes no goddamn sense. And then their whole response is, oh, well, their immune system is weakened. They're a fucking child. They've had no ability to develop an immune system. They haven't been exposed to anything. The only thing we're exposing them to is a chemical cocktail The fuck are you talking about? And so you've got to understand that the medical industry in America has more influence in Congress than big oil. I think it's big oil and big tech. So thinking about that, these people, the medical industry, big pharma, has so much influence within America, it trumps the military-industrial complex. So I suppose what I'm trying to say, because we could go off in the factoids of it all the time, looking at it from a spiritual, metaphysical, multidimensional way, there are children that are being born here who are here to open up so many different eyes to talk about a lot of different things. But what's happening now, the same way I'm saying these people are controlling the future, is they're using legalese and politics to infiltrate and inculcate and indoctrinate the next generation, so that whenever you say something that doesn't jive with what the agenda is or what the next generation approves, because that's going to be a huge thing, you're going to be considered a bigot, a homophobe, a xenophobe, somebody who's not with the program, you see. And here again we have this counterfeiting of creation, this counterfeiting of reality, and this manipulation of time. I'm trying to talk about how that's really what it is. That's what the devil does. That's what Satan is he's a great deceiver, a great manipulator, a great imitation of the truth. And you guys hear me say this all the time, how these people, they work like that, how they do things in the name of light, but it's truly like acts of deception. You see what I'm saying? There's a natural order to things, a natural higher cosmic order to things. And those that are in control here on this plane, on this realm, on this earth, people that get that. They get that. Like here, I'm getting up. I was thinking about this when I was on the hike this morning, man. And I hope I can effectively convey it. We don't know how old the earth is. And if you guys got some ideas in the comments, go ahead and drop them. I don't know how old the earth is, right? But I started thinking to myself, the only thing that is different is you. I'll say that again. We don't know how old the earth is. The only thing that is different is you. Hey, puppies. So, show you guys. Hey, buddy. You're on camera. You're gonna bark like that? Well, I think you're pretty handsome. I'd take you home, but I don't think your owners are, like that. You want here? Smell my hand, buddy. Come here. Where are you going? Got your ridge all up. Where are you going? Come here. Come here. Come smell my hand. Come here. Right here. Come here. Why are you looking like that? You know you like me. Bring your fucking self over here then. You little shit. Anyway. Oh, now you're gonna come back as I'm walking away? Sorry about that. I'm gonna come back around and I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna make you fucking like me. Okay. Anyway, we don't know how old the earth is. We don't know how old the earth is. And the only thing that has changed is you. You guys may have heard me speaking a lot on things like reincarnation. Again, self-existence, self-determination. Did we choose to be born here? We don't know how old the earth is. The earth could be here for thousands of years, millions of years. And we could have reincarnated several times over. And during that time, we could have forgotten. I guess what I'm trying to say is, we don't know where we come from. How many times could we have been reincarnated, rebirthed, brought here, and gone through this and forgot it? You see what I'm saying? We have a good 80 years, a good 120 years here. We don't really get a lot of discussions or a lot of thought processes about like where we come from, what we're doing, and how we're going to get back to it. I guess let me say this one more time. We don't know how old the earth is, and we don't know where we come from. If indeed we do come from carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, potassium, and sulfur, base compounds found here on earth, and our bodies are basically essentially clay, reformed time and time again through different bloodlines or through different genealogies. We've been here time and time again is what I'm saying. We've been here, but we keep forgetting. And that's something I think people don't really understand. While we may forget, our bodies and our genetics do not, because we are an amalgamation of our entire life, of our history, of our ancestors, of our forefathers. But people don't think that way these days. You see what I'm saying? Let me finish walking. To speak on this whole, the only thing that has changed is you concept. The earth has been here. The only thing that has changed is you. Your age, your time, your orientation, your ability to even give a shit, to be aware of what's actually happening. The earth has stayed the same. Yeah, there's times where it changes, because there's seasons, right? Different ages, like the Kali Yuga. I think that's what I was trying to say. Is you look at things like the Mayan calendar, the Kali Yuga, even things like the Bible. You look at it, and it talks about how we just continually do this dance, this song and dance throughout history, where we're trying to figure out who we are, our connection to the divine, as well as our orientation here. Now, I think this is important because we're living in a world where people don't care. We're living in a world where we're not really understanding what we're creating. We're just reacting. It's that fucking dog. Yeah, you. I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be fucking back. You fucking little shit. The only thing that has changed is you. And I think I'm making a play on words because there is this game by the good folks over there at Square Enix. Anything they touch turns to gold. They made that game, The World Ends With You. And I thought that was the craziest title whenever I was a kid. And so whenever I'm saying, the only thing that has changed is you, it's just that. You're the only thing that's changed here on this planet. Like Earth, there might have been water in the desert. There could have been tornadoes in the ocean. Yeah, there could have been all kinds of different things that change, for sure. But deep down, the earth stays the same. You're the only thing that changes. Your perception of the earth, whether or not you're walking on grass, if you're walking on sand, if you're walking on hill, if you're walking in ice, the only thing that changes is your perception of it. And I think that's I really hope I'm able to explain that in the capacity that people need to get it, and how that ties in is it's the same forces that are still in control. You'll have people that say, oh, it's the Jews, oh, it's the Zionists, oh, it's these people. I'm just like, it's not them. It's the energy that they represent. It's what they're tied into. It's who they work for. But we always like to skip that step. We always like to ignore who it is this ancient thing works for. You see what I'm saying? Why do you think their main thing is the destruction and the manipulation of history? Why do you think they mess with things like the Bible? Why do they tell you, if you're not royal, don't worry about your genealogy? Why do you think their whole thing is to tell you how unimportant you are, how minuscule you are, how nothing you do ever matters? Because that's the big secret. Everything you do matters. If you take the time to channel into that step into that larger cosmological plan, that order, you're given so much. You are given so many different blessings. And I can get how that can be, scary for some people, crazy to think about, oh my God, have we been here before? Have I been here before? Well, are we only stuck here? What else is there? I can see how that would put people to a point to where they'd get like overwhelmed and start freaking out because they start thinking they're trapped. When I truly, thoroughly believe that it's the exact opposite. That, now that you know these things, you're able to liberate yourself. It's like, imagine walking through your whole life being blind, not realizing that, somebody duct taped your eyes. You weren't blind. You were only told you were blind, and it was your perception of you being blind. And you're not blind. You told yourself you were blind. And so whenever you decided to rip off that little piece of tape that somebody else put up on you that you listened to, holy crap, just like that, you begin to see, you begin to perceive. You don't think, I'm blind. You still have all the senses and things that you developed while you were thinking that you were blind, but now because you have a whole new sense, you have a whole new awareness of things. Like, so I get frustrated because it's like, how do you convey so many different things to people, and at the end of the day, help them understand that like they're beautiful individuals, and that the world that we live in right now is not really meant to advocate these types of things or point these types of things out. How do you point this out? How do you tell people not to listen to that vibe that's saying, you're a piece of shit, you're not worthy, you're not worth it, like, oh, you're a waste of space, or how do you tell people not to tune into that? You see it. I'm going to use this time real quick to tell you guys to go check out our most recent podcast episodes with Justin Harvey of We Are Change Orlando, as well as the mini casts that we did last week, parts 1 through 3, where we basically talked about everything we talked about here and more. Also, go listen to the extraordinarily passionate Fellowship and Freedom episode, where I basically I went in on somebody because I think this is a good way for me to kind of segue into this. I went in on somebody, that was basically doing all kinds of psychedelics and pharmaceuticals. I'm not against psychedelics. Everything you heard me just fucking say right there, I advocate psychedelics so we can get a deeper understanding of it. Again, and this is another crazier thing. If you listen or hear some of the people's trips, they'll say they took like a handful of shrooms, man, and they went back to one of their past lives, and that shit was crazy. They said they were there for like 20 years. They had kids. They had chickens, pigs, a whole farm, and then they got attacked and raided. This is all for like mushroom trips. And like, whoa, what's this? So I'm an advocate for psychedelics. I'm an advocate for, being a cosmonaut, understanding like the different aspects of the mind. What I'm not an advocate for is junkies. I'm not an advocate for indulgence, largesse. I'm not one for somebody that's just like, I'm doing all this shit, and you guys will hear how I feel about all that stuff in that minicast, because, like I said, I am an advocate for psychedelics to understand our orientation, our spirituality, and so much more. But what you have being pushed these days is not doing things to understand ourselves deeper, but to do things to literally detach ourselves from reality, literally to escape here. And so that's, if you ask me, evidence of a larger personal issue. Somebody that has shit they don't want to deal with, and so they're running away. They're doing all these drugs to run away, which creates more problems. But I speak about that on the minicast because it is important. We all have somebody that is heavily, I don't want to say addicted to pharmaceutical or psychedelics, because I don't think you can be, but somebody that's just like enmeshed in them. And I speak about the spiritual aspects surrounding this as well. How you're coming in, how you're essentially getting into a frequency lock with something that resides there. So yeah, make sure you guys are listening to all the content we're putting out, because we're not going to stop. We're only going to amplify. You got to think, what happens whenever I'm like literally able to simulstream one of these little things that we're doing right here on Facebook, YouTube, and then like on Blog Talk Radio, you see. So this is how things work and intensify and increase. You have to move into that flow state. You have to improve it, make it better. And I'm not necessarily sure how much time we have right now, but I just want to go ahead and let you guys know that I will be in Texas Wednesday through Friday, hanging out with Adam of Shamanic Philosophy, talking about everything we're talking about here and more. because it's important, man. It really is. I'm not sure if we'll live stream it or if we'll do it over Blog Talk Radio or what, but I will definitely keep you guys in the loop. And again, listen to the podcast, Factions of Freedom. You go ahead and type that right now. Oh, yep. Put it up there, right? Go listen. That's right. Boom, pin that. Boom. See that? It's pinned. Factions of Freedom. Go find it on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, TuneIn Radio, and any other major podcasting platform. We're also on Fedbook, YouTube, Brighteon, as well as BitChute, Steemit as well, Vero and Halanis, and Minds.com. We're on a lot of different platforms, to say the least. We're on a lot of different platforms. So go find the podcast, boop, 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 Factions of Freedom, and check out the content. That's all I can really say. The page, they are synergistic of one another. One feeds on the other. It's an amazing thing. An amazing thing. And I would tell you guys about all kinds of different updates and stuff that I have kind of keyed up for the future, but I just kind of wanted to do this whole word vomit, truth bomb, just drop it out there for you guys. Yeah, regurgitate that. Get that out there for you guys. Yeah, I think this will be a good place to kind of end it. Let's see where that dog's at. The other day I had put up a post about, what was it? Somebody wanted to put up a sponsored post, right? And this usually happens like every single time I put up a post, right? Or put out like a sponsored post. People are tired of seeing, watches or headphones or stuff that really doesn't benefit them. And I had a great conversation with a follower who was like, hey man, I love your work, I love what you do, I respect everything you're doing, but I'm seeing you put this post out here, and it really makes me lose appreciation for you. Hold on. You gonna give me a hug? Why not? Come here. Come here. Look, I'll squat down in the bushes for you. Watch, I'll walk away, and he'll come up. I'm turning away now. Oh, I know. I'm gonna make you love me. It might not be here. It might not even be with these people on Instagram, but I'm gonna make you love me. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right then. Anyway. So we put up that post about the watches, and I had a conversation with somebody who was like, man, I want to support you, but when you do shit like this, it makes it really hard and really difficult. And they have every reason to say that. They really do. And my response, again, because I've had to grow into this, I don't know these things right off the bat. And I say that, but that's the crazy thing, is saying things and doing things are two totally different things. When I'm telling you guys, vote with your dollars, vote with your lifestyle, that's a real thing. When I'm putting up those posts, those paid posts, somebody did pay that. That's kind of service to me. I need to figure out something that's service to myself, the brand, and you guys, the listeners. Something that's got that 360 win, that synergistic beneficial, that mutually beneficial relationship. And that's happened a few times, because I've had to grow, I've had to learn. You don't know these things right off the bat, especially if that's not your primary thing. I'm not here. I was never here to try to sell you guys anything. I was never here to try to make money. But now that we're having to expand and grow, I'm having to be like, whoa, what is this? I have to care about what now? What? Shit. Subscription fees? Ugh. Streaming stuff? I have to do this? Really? Fucking A. And so you know, and I'm telling you guys this because you have to understand, it's not reluctance. It's like, this is how it works. You can have an idea of where you're wanting to go, and life will basically bat that cup off the table and say you're a fool for thinking that. You know, I guess to kind of summarize this stuff instead of ranting for you guys, earlier this week we put up a post about the watches, and I know you guys are getting real tired of it. That's why you see me kind of feverishly figuring out, well, what are different ways for us to create income that's not one-sided, that's mutually beneficial to you, the audience, the brand, myself, to where we can expand on what we're doing. Because I want those writers, I want those videographers, I want to be able to figure out a way to do broadcasts like this every single day. Not every single day, because I have a life. Maybe 3 times a week, who knows? And then, like, there's just so much stuff that, because I'm having to think in the capacity of acquiring income and what that income will do for the operation, that it makes me excited to do it. But I have to figure out how to effectively do it the same way we've streamlined everything else. And I know that's easier said than done. I just think you, the audience, needs to know what happens, or what's happening as we're coming up with these different changes, man. You know, I didn't get here on my own. It was because of you guys. It was because of the followers. It was because of the team. Like, yesterday was International Women's Day, right? I love my mom. I swear to God, she knows it. I love my mom. And I also love Cindy Ashby, our amazing producer for On the Wake Up Radio. She's like our work mom. I also love my girlfriend. I also love all women. But I think the best way to stop myself right there before I go shoot myself in the foot, say some dumbass shit, I think the best thing to say is, if you love a woman, empower them. That's the best thing that you can do. You know, men, guys, I hate to tell you, sometimes we do some dumbass shit. I ain't gonna lie. And I know what's better for me. But sometimes my female, she knows a little bit more, and she can slow me down. I have a real hard time slowing myself down, I ain't gonna lie. You know, I suppose what I'm trying to say is, you gotta learn what's better for you. A good female will do that. And the females that we have behind the operations that have presented all this stuff to you guys, I can't thank them enough, and neither can you. You know, my mother was a Marine. My father was in the Navy. So that should give you guys a little insight as to why I am the way that I am. Why I kind of have this, like, forceful mentality towards a lot of different stuff. It's get shit done. You have no time for anything else. And so to tie it up to what I was saying before, you know, about carrying the products and why we have to expand and all the growth that comes with it, you know, this is all unintended. But I'm extraordinarily grateful for everything that falls into my life. And it's because, you know, I had been taught these things by a strong female, and they had been nurtured by other strong females throughout my life, as well as strong men. I'm doing a thing since it's International Women's Day. Hey, baby. Oh, I got attacked. Oh, baby. What are you doing? My puppy came and attacked me. She saw me out here. Baby, I'm talking to the people. You do this every time. You do this every time, sweet stuff. Every time. Sorry about that. Yeah, let me connect all this to wrap it up. We're going to start selling better products on the page to you guys. We're going to start providing an actual service. We're going to start being more beneficial to you unilaterally. And this is because we're having to step in this position. We're no longer just a page with like 8,000 followers or 80,000 followers or even 160,000 followers. Like we're getting up there. So we got to be a little bit more sophisticated and official about stuff and everything that we're doing off the gram and on the gram and more. Because it's crazy, you know. this word influence is so fucking crazy, dude. I hate it. You know, and it was like, yes, it was like this in high school too, man. Like, I would hang out with the jocks, the nerds, the preps, the goths, you know, the sluts, the gangsters, the religious people. I would hang out with all of them, bro. And they would all say the same damn thing. EJ never answers his phone because, well, I'm here for all of us. I'm here to experience everything else that everybody else is going on with. I'm very curious about it. But now, because I've taken that same kind of mentality to the world, you see me still engaging with all these different spectrums of people, and the fucking influence. The influence that I'm like amassing is something else different, and I have to figure out what to do with it, because it's like borderline reluctance. It's like, yeah, I want to be able to influence and help people, but I don't want to have as much credibility and influence as I have. My words have weight and meaning, and it's just crazy is all I can really say to you guys. It's just crazy. People expect me to be up here. I try to get right here. We're usually like right here. And so it's, yeah, I know that's funny to you, huh, horse? The horse thinks that's hilarious. Ha 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 ha. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, all I'm really trying to tell you guys is I'm a regular day crazy motherfucker like you guys, trying to do something different and better for all of us. And I get frustrated at myself because I see where my faults are, but I'm trying to do the best that I can to get us and myself to where we need to be. And the only way to do that is by pointing out problems and talking about the solutions. Episodes like what we did with Justin Harvey, those are one of the ones that exemplifies it. That shows you why you do the podcasting, why you do this type of research, why you do this type of activism, and why greater things are revealed to you by stepping into that. Everything you guys heard me just like ramble on right there was just that. Speaking on affirmations, saying how your thoughts do create reality and how you have to step into it if you want it. A lot of people say they want it, but they don't want it. You see what I'm saying? And so we have to do what we have to do what's required in order to acquire what's supposed to be delivered to us. So yeah. Make sure you listen to the most recent podcast episode. I cannot parrot or echo the episode with Justin Harvey enough, because that was a fantastic way to come back from this 2-week break. Phenomenal dude, impressive resume with the work, and that's what it is, man. I'm gonna try to have on more people from the United for Common Ground Summit. Maybe we'll do a separate series, see if Jason Bassler of the Free Thought Project wants to listen or co-host with us. I don't know, we'll figure something out. But yeah, we're growing. We're growing, and that's it's all thanks to you guys, really. And we're gonna figure out more. I'm gonna take another pass at this dog real quick, one more time. That's right. Hey, what you doing? Y'all want to come say hey to this dog with me? Hey. Hey. You don't want to say hey to some of me and my friends? Where's he at? Where is he at, though? Come say hey, buddy. Gina, get the hell out of here. You're doing a thing. See, you scared him off. I can't take them anywhere. I can't take them anywhere. Anywhere. Okay. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And that's the backyard. Maybe we'll hang out here and talk to you guys a lot more. Come on. Come on. Let's go. People ask me what I think about anarchy and drugs. You need to wait, and you need to hit rewind. Okay? Or you don't really even care, And if you really do care, then you need to go listen to my podcast episodes where I say it in depth. That's all I got. That's all I got. People, hop in here in the chats, say some shit real quick. And because I'm not literally hovering over my phone and doing shit, they think I'm supposed to answer these questions. I need to set aside a time where I sit down and talk to you guys about everything I'm doing, to where we have like a Q&A. Because I come up here, I just word vomit, download stuff, leave it at that, and that's it. If people really want to know, they'll hit me up in the DMs. Otherwise, they really don't give a shit. They just want to hear me rant on it. And if they really want to hear me rant on it, they'll go listen to the podcast episode. Because I am providing so much content and such a comprehensive analysis on a lot of stuff that if they really gave a shit, they'd ask me. But they don't care. And that's okay. But yeah, spent too much time with you guys talking about nothing, really. Nothing. If you guys have any questions, hit me up in the DMs. Otherwise, I'll check in with you maybe Tuesday or Monday. And for sure whenever we do the stuff with Adam of Shamanic Philosophy. But yeah, that's what I got. Listen to the most recent podcast episode. Go check out all the stuff that we're doing. If this helped you, share it with a friend, man. I'm batshit crazy. People love to talk shit about batshit crazy people. Have a great conversation. That's all I got. Get out there, go crush the day, if you haven't already. And remember, guys and gals, stay vigilant. Expose lies and share truth. This is Noah's Era, Freedom Faction. Out.